Fowler. Kirk Herbstreit join us now, and man, this story.
Well, let's do Chris Fowler, Kirk Herbstreit right now.
Holly asked him about it. We've all heard Ryan Day say the story can only be told if we win tonight. Herbie, I'll let you start as a guy grew up there and wore the uniform. What's the story of this team?
Oh, don't start with me, man. I'm a little emotional. I'm just fired up for these guys. When I call these games, I'm incredibly objective. And I love all these Ohio State teams, but this team, because of what they went through to get to this point, you're just happy, Just happy for them.
We're all from somewhere, all right? There's zero apologies for any of the emotion. I think it's all understandable. I'll ask Chris a question. Let you get yourself together.
It's his seventh national title, seventh for Ohio State, but none of them have been won like this, Scott. As you said,
right? So emotional right now.
The first year of the 14 bracket, and they had to beat Alabama in New Orleans to do it, to beat Oregon. Now you come into this year, and off that low, to win a championship this way, to survive 4 rounds against 4 really high-quality teams. Yeah, they're expected to win, but you got to go out and handle business. And they played from the front most of the time, but to execute collectively and to still be standing, that's really the story. I mean, I don't know if they were written off. I mean, they were ripped apart by a lot of their own people. Columbus.
They went to hell and back. I mean, we can try to make this sound soft, but my thing is I talk to these players, I talk to these coaches. I know what they faced after that Michigan game. I know the pain, and I know that a lot of people thought, the hell with this guy. Who else can be the guy? And I know what that did. That's a real life thing, and to have to put that away and not be, like, who are you to question? Like, he just handled it, took the high road, didn't say anything, went out, got his team ready to play 4 games, and they won it. And I think that's why I'm emotional, is what these guys faced. And if you notice, they just kept talking about each other. They didn't talk about, anything else. It was each other. It was the coaches. It was because it was those guys in that locker room that believed that they could make this run. And I think that's what, 20 years from now, that's what I'll remember, is how they kept it together just by themselves and had to fight out of that dark hole that they were in. And it's pretty special to think. It's a great example for all of us to learn about adversity. We want to quit. We want to give up. It's a great example, not just for football, but in life, about getting through the tough times. And the good times are coming ahead. And that's what this is.
I totally agree. And you feel so fortunate in this job that we have to do what we do anytime. But to be here on the sideline watching as that conversion happens and Smith catches the ball, throw the ball to 4, by the way, right? And you see JTT and Sawyer and the hugs and the real love, right? And I'm glad Reese asked about it, because they lean into faith, and the faith not just in God, but in one another. And I think you saw that reflected in
so the marching band is doing the alma mater.
But maybe I will for just a moment.
Yeah. I know in Columbus they love this.
The only thing is they didn't blow the touchdown horn either. I mean, they didn't blow the touchdown horn too,
But here they are, as they knock off a very game Notre Dame team. Chris, if I could rewind the tape back to that emphatic opening drive, I think a lot of folks wondered, could Notre Dame stand toe-to-toe with this team? They showed us plenty to get here, but they suffered a number of injuries along the way, and were they built to stand up to Ohio State? And that first drive said, hey, we're here to fight. But the answer from Ohio State with 3 consecutive touchdown drives in the first half was just remarkable. I'm sure calling it, what were you thinking throughout the first half?
Well, I've never seen an opening drive like that in any game. I forget a championship game. 9:45 off the clock against a tough defense. Riley Leonard literally emptying the bucket at his guts. just landing on the ball. He looked like he could barely stand up at the end of the drive. You thought, okay, that's a good opening statement.
Right.
But then Ohio State had every answer, and Notre Dame simply could not get off the field, could not get a third down stop. And that was, in their end, the demise as the lead built. It was a little bit too big to make up for. Now, they battled back. I gave them no chance down 24 of even being in the game at the end. And they found a way to do that, and it took the call that, as Howard said post-game, took large Buckeyes.
Well, as you see, this has been a great college football season this year. I've really enjoyed watching all of them, especially during from August, then to September, until December, and then until January, then until the national championship. So we've done it all. Now, I think my best part is I'm watching these games on TV like ever since.
They silenced some doubters. They went to SEC country and they beat up the bullies from Georgia. I know for Notre Dame people that meant a lot. They came up short tonight. Marcus Freeman will be disappointed that his team, in his words, didn't play their best early enough to hang with them and really give themselves a great chance to win. But there's no shame for me in the Irish for what they did this season.
Oh.
Lost one game brilliantly. They had plenty of adversity, a ton of injuries. So resolve and resilience on both sides tonight. Ohio State the better team and the deserving winner, but I do want to salute Notre Dame.
No, they were, Scotty, as you know, they're down 31-7 against this juggernaut, and not looking like they're going to slow down anytime soon. And they're going to be able to get a stop. Oh wow, they got a stop, which was like, okay, that's a starting point. Now you got to go score, and they did. And then they got the 2-pointer, and they just wouldn't go away. So that's culture. That's Marcus Freeman in just his third year, what he's creating. I think he's scratching the surface of where this thing's going to go. So tough night. There'll be a lot of things. We could have done this or could have done that. But as far as what they're building in South Bend, well, I'm excited to see where this thing goes with him as the head coach.
Well, and in the end, it did take some Buckeyes to throw it to 4, but what a play he makes. And they're going to lose, Herbie, a lot of this talent. The guys that stuck around that didn't have to. I think that's really the story of NIL and all the rest of this, is that you can come up with the dough that's required to keep guys that could go play on Sundays but wanted to leave a mark in Columbus. I want to give you the final word here about this team and what those guys that didn't have to stick around but did ultimately leave behind in Columbus.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I think there was a narrative most of the year saying, well, they spent $20 million. They should win a championship. And if you really look close to it, a lot of the, you bring in Caleb Downs, you bring in Will Howard and Seth McLaughlin, but a lot of it had to do with the players that they really had on the roster, especially on defense. I mean, 9 of those starters have been around for 3 or 4 years. We've been calling their games forever, and they had a lot of great times, but I had a lot of tough moments. And I don't think this gets done. As much as we're talking about Ryan Day, without those seniors and without all that they've been through and the buy-in that they put together along with the coaches, this doesn't happen. So I think it's very fitting that they win this, but I think your point is outstanding to remember guys like Cody Simon and Jack Sawyer and JTT. It just goes Lathan Ransom. It keeps going on down the list of guys that
well, it was an honor
this happened despite the pitfalls that they faced, and end of the day, they raised that trophy.
Night belongs also, Scotty, to the Big Ten. Back-to-back national championships. That didn't happen in consecutive seasons in like 80 years.
Wow.
80 years. So it's a power shift. We'll see if they can keep it going. But to come to home in the SEC and make it back-to-back for the Big Ten is important to a lot of people.
And once again, folks, it was an honor. It was my honor and privilege watching all these college football games from August and September, and then until December, and then until January, and then until the national championship game on the Monday, January 20th. So we'll see you all next season, this fall, and then until late in the next year for the college football playoff national championship. It was awesome. It was a tremendous. And we'll say so long from Atlanta, Georgia. And we'll see you all next upcoming fall season and see how everything will work out.
Out of the gate and a remarkable drive where Riley Leonard, time and time again on 4th down, moved the pile himself, lands on the football, but still got enough gas in the tank to take it to the paint. 18 plays, the longest drive in a BCS college football championship game. Notre Dame up 7-0. Leonard landed on the ball. It hurts. Maybe you puke. It's fine.
And on the second quarter, we're just going to take a look at his highlights right now.
That drive ate up more than 2/3 of
and
the
we
first
made
quarter. So
a
Ohio
3
State gets their hands on the
touchdowns in a
football,
row.
and what a play design. Chip Kelly in his bag tonight does Jeremiah Smith, the incredible freshman who walks it in. You can see Christian Grace trying to alert the Notre Dame defense of what's coming. And there's nobody in a blue uniform to slow him down. After Notre Dame gave the ball right back, Quinshon Judkins into the end zone, and 2 consecutive drives result in 2 consecutive touchdowns for Ohio State. 2 minutes to play in the second. Notre Dame has been great in the middle 8, as they call it, and Ohio State flipped the script on him in this case, as here Will Howard finds Carnell Tate 12 for 12 to start the game, the most consecutive completions to start a national championship game all time. Can they cash it in with 7? They can. Howard finds time and finds a wide open Judkins in the end zone. And Ohio State's the first team to start a national championship game with 3 consecutive touchdown drives since Bama in 2013. That was against Notre Dame. LeBron in the building and all the Buckeyes fans loving what they're seeing. The middle 8 includes the first 4 of the third as well. And what an emphatic statement right out of the locker room. Ryan Day said in his interview right before they went in, we got to have a great drive to start the second half. 70 yards from Judkins to start the drive. That's a great way to get it going. And then guess who? Judkins again. 1, 2, 3 for the transfer from Ole Miss. Will Howard roaring. And look, let's be honest, this Notre Dame team doesn't feel like they're necessarily equipped for a huge comeback. They're not built that way necessarily. Nobody told them that. Jaden Greathouse, tremendous play. Spins out of a tackle, and one of the heroes of the win over Penn State gets Notre Dame a little closer. They go for 2 and get it, 31-15. That's where we are, early 4th. Emeka Egbuka on the run. Big time gain of 24, but then Notre Dame led the nation in turnovers this year. They force more than anybody. They get the ball back. Tremendous job right there as the Irish still in the fight. It's 31-15. 3rd and goal, incomplete. As Greathouse has it knocked away by Jordan Hancock. Curious decision here to go for 3. And Mitch Jeter, the hero who made the field goal to beat Penn State, off the left upright. And so Marcus Freeman sees the decision to go for 3 backfire as they get none at all. That Ohio State defense in the red zone has been spectacular all season long. But then Notre Dame gets the ball back. There's Greathouse again. There's a flag on Ohio State. As you can see, he's clearly being interfered with. Only has one hand to make the catch. That's all he needs. He makes the grab. 31-21. Clearly, you can do the math at home. A 2-point conversion, you got to have it. Jordan Faison. He's got a man wide open in the back of the end zone. That's Bo Collins. And it's an 8-point game. It was 31-7. The Irish look done. No, they're not. But now, on 3rd and 11, throw it to 4. What a play as Howard dials it up to the freshman Jeremiah Smith. And the Buckeyes can sense that this is going to be a night to celebrate. Another look at Smith. Got single coverage, and that's just a mismatch against anybody. 29 on a rough night tonight, particularly when 4 went after him. But look, 4 is pretty tough to cover. See Maurice Claret celebrating. Ryan Day says, let me take this headset off before you crush me with a Gatorade. That was a direct hit. He doesn't give a bleep as they win the national championship trophy presented by Dr. Pepper. Every team around the country spent all year in pursuit of that, to be a forever team. And that is what the Ohio State Buckeyes are as a result of this playoff victory. They pick up yet another win against the AP Top 5. They break a tie with that juggernaut 2019 team from LSU. 1967 USC and 1943 Notre Dame, for the most in a season since the debut of the AP poll era. 4 of those 5 victories came in
We did it.
the playoff. Ohio State spots the Irish.
Well, once again, I will do it from here from Mercedes-Benz Stadium, Atlanta, Georgia. It was an honor, privilege watching all these college football games until this time. We'll see you all in the upcoming fall season, like for college football, and then the national championship next year in Miami Gardens, Florida, and live from the Hard Rock Stadium and Miami Gardens. We'll see you all next year, guys.
The Ram Trucks postgame is brought to you by Ram Trucks, built to serve.
And we'll see you all next season, this fall, very soon. See you all into the championship in 2026.